Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It is May of 2020, and I sincerely hope everyone is doing as well as possible with the current unpleasantness. I considered talking about some of the current events going on in the world today, but I've decided against it because if you wanted to watch the news, you would. So with that, let's talk about some happy crap. And the first happy bit of crap is this! The Turok 3 review was a smashing success. I'm glad everyone enjoyed it. I enjoyed working on it, and that's a review that is one of my favorites now. Everything just really came together when it came to that review, and I'm glad I was able to finally get that out for everyone. I didn't know everyone was waiting so long for that bloody thing, because to me, Turok 3 is just a game in many respects. I didn't grow up with it, so I wasn't that excited to do it, but I'm glad I finally did it. We've got some Dreamcast stuff coming up. They're actually already done. I've got two Dreamcast reviews that are actually already completed. It's going to be Zombie Revenge. That's coming up Friday. I would have made the joke had I actually remembered the real title for that. I thought it was Zombies Revenge, but it's just Zombie. Just the one Zombie Revenge. Oh man, that game. Then we've got Cannon Spike. That was a real quick review to do, because that's not a very long game, and there's not that much to say about it. It's just a fun bullet hell top-down kind of game. There's going to be one more Dreamcast review, and I'm actually going to work on that today, and that is going to be Spawn Demon's Hand. I'd never heard of it till Rainick recommended it to me, and unlike Zombies Revenge and Cannon Spike, it is a much more playable game than those two, and it is damn good. I know the AVGN did something on Spawn games, but I've not seen his review of the Spawn games. I assume he gave it high marks because it's a damn good game. There's another Spawn game I would really love to do a full review on, and that's Spawn Armageddon, which is a PlayStation 2 hack and slash kind of game. It's a similar vein to Predator Concrete Jungle. And I kind of want to review that, but I've never done a Spawn anything on this channel, and I don't really want to devote a lot of time to it, because it would take a while to do. Now, the next full review, on the other hand, is going to be a game called Jurassic the Hunted. Now, fans who came from CGR Undertale, you know I will already have reviewed that for the PS3. I'm going to be giving it a full review for the PS2, simply because the PS3 hasn't worked for about 5 years now. And I'm in no real rush to get a Blu-ray laser for it, especially with RPSX3 emulation. I'll tell you this, Jurassic the Hunted is going to be a review where I can have a lot of joke fodder, but I will tell you this, though. It is in every bit, it's pretty much just a mockbuster or asylum version of Turok 2008, but you can tell they tried. There's a lot of elements where if they were just half-assing, it would be a lot worse than it is. I think they just didn't have any time or budget to make a really good game, so they used what little resources they had, and they made a game that is 100% mediocre. It is totally mediocre, but if they didn't give it their all, if they just half-assed it, it wouldn't be as good as that. Doom Eternal is still set for July, because from what I've seen, Bethesda is going to reverse that horrible anti-cheat malware crap that they have in it. So, that'll be good. I'm looking forward to being able to play Doom Eternal again, because that is a damn good game. There's also going to be a few more basic reviews between now and Doom Eternal, and I'm also going to review Deadpool, the NES ROM hack, which is a ROM hack of Ninja Gaiden. And that is a game that is pretty good. I mean, just adding Deadpool to anything is generally a fun prospect. Although, I'm going to mention in the review that Deadpool really doesn't have staying power. And that's mainly because Deadpool relies upon cheap jokes. He's not as deep of a character as one would like, and so once he's done his, comedic, once you've seen the comedic stylings of the Deadpool, it's pretty forgettable. Because the first two Deadpool movies, I enjoyed them well enough, but I've had no real desire to go back and watch them. If anything, I've had more of a desire to go back and watch the Tom Hardy Venom movie. Because, well, Venom is pretty cool of a character. So, but Deadpool, I mean, he was cool the first time, but he just doesn't, he's not that memorable, really. It's kind of like Family Guy. That's not that memorable of a show. It doesn't really have an emotional core like The Simpsons had. And, Deadpool doesn't really have as an emotional of a core as, say, something like Iron Man does. So it doesn't really have something to bring you back to it. It's kind of like the Deadpool game. I reviewed that for CGR Undertow as well. That game is really generic. It's not bad, but there's no real reason to go back other than just to listen to Nolan North being Deadpool. And once you've seen that once, it's really not worth going back again. So that's one of the sad parts about Deadpool. I don't think he's going to be as breakout as some of these other characters just because there isn't much there to really care about. If anything, I would say Tom Hardy's Venom is more entertaining of a, sociopathic hero than Deadpool is. Because at least Venom has that emotional core to him. Now I've pissed off all the Deadpool fans, but whatever. I like Deadpool. I have a Deadpool shirt I got from Walmart for $1. But he's just not that great. Yeah, I'm just going to say that. That's not an opinion I've held for a long time. It literally just hit me that, oh yeah, Deadpool's a thing. I'd completely forgotten about him. I was like, why is Deadpool just a thing? And it's like, oh yeah, because he doesn't really have much going for him other than just wacky. Let's see, what else we got, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the Deadpools. Worry not, ladies and gentlemen, this year we're still getting the Alien Isolation review. I'm going to mention that everybody, one of these, just so everyone remembers, yes, that's a thing, despite, viruses and things of that nature, that's still happening. Now, as to why I've not done any live streams, I have been way too busy with real life, way too busy slaving away at the old salt mines, not that I mind, because dollar bills, ladies and gentlemen. And speaking of dollar bills, by using all that sweet overtime dosh, there's going to be another First Shots review, or First Shots video, in addition to some First Shots videos I've already got edited and ready to go. And that's going to be of the Rossi 91, or Rossi 92. The Rossi 92 is a Brazilian copy of the Winchester 92 lever-action rifle, which is a pistol caliber carbine. I'm really looking forward to that because I've always wanted a centerfire lever-action rifle. Can't wait. What's really funny, though, and the reason I bring it up here, and I'm also going to bring this up in the First Shots video as well, that rifle has almost near universal acclaim. And you don't really see that with anything. But every video, every article, every forum post is like, yeah, the Rossi 92, it's kind of rough, but it's good. Which is like every rifle I've seen, like the AR-15's a jam-o-matic, the AK's never works right, the SKS just blows up. Rossi, that is like sacred to people. People even complain about the M1 Garand. Nobody complains about the Rossi. Not really sure why. I'm not going to complain because I've wanted that rifle for many, many years now, and I'm glad to finally get it. So, ladies and gentlemen, there was one video or series of videos I wanted to do but can't do right now just due to time and the fact that the article disappeared. I found the perfect Mall Ninja article. That video still gets comments to this day. Still gets views. I don't know why. I found a really good Mall Ninja article, though, complaining about the M1 Garand, saying is how it's, it's not a good rifle. You get M1 thumb all the time. It jams all the time. I think I already said that. But it's all crap if you've ever owned one. Now, one thing I will point out about the M1, I'm going to mention this in the review. I have never gotten M1 thumb when I load it with a full literal clip of ammunition. The only time I've gotten M1 thumb is when I try to close the bolt on an empty clip holder, or whatever you call that thing. It's not a magazine, but you get the idea. When you try to close it empty, that's when you can slip off of that charging handle and have your finger get crammed into there. And I'm willing to wager that back in the day, when people were training and the gun was empty and they were letting that bolt go home, that's when they got the M1 thumb. And when they were loading a fully loaded clip, they didn't get it. I'm willing to bet that's where that came from. Because that's what's happened with me. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, we got more book reviews coming out in the future. More Alien stuff. There's 3 more Alien books, and then we can move on to Star Wars, and then on to some 40K. Now, I need more water. When it comes to 40K, that's definitely a franchise that's getting a lot more popular, but I'm not sure if the tabletop game is going to get any more popular because evidently there's been a massive price hike from GW, which 40K was already way out of my price range. I wasn't going to spend money on little miniatures I have to paint myself. That's why I went with Battletech. With the beginner's box, you get 2 miniatures for, well, not really free, but you get 2 miniatures, and the battle box or the beginner's box there is $20, or at least it was. Whereas you want to get a beginner anything with 40K, you're paying $80 or more. And Battletech, while it may not have the universe of 40K, it's still a fairly entertaining universe. It just lacks the foul Xenos. And honestly, I don't want to pay $100 for just the beginner box. What I did look, though, I did look at the model prices a number of years ago. And like one squad of like Space Marines was like $100 for 40K. No way, ladies and gentlemen. No way. I'll just read my books and play my video games and be happy with that. Now, speaking of books, I was thinking about this last week. What books do I recommend to get into 40K? Now, getting to those reviews is going to take a while because there's a lot of other things I have to review. But for right now, I will tell you there are 2 omnibuses that you should read first. No, 3 actually. Yeah, 3. That you should read first if you really want to get into the universe. The first one is the Caiaphas or Cyphus or how... Blackadder Kane, there we go. Hero of the Imperium. Try that first. If you like him, keep going. If you want to get into Space Marines, get the Space Wolves Omnibus. The first Space Wolf Omnibus. The second one's good too. As is the third. I think there's a third one. There's at least 2. The Space Wolf Omnibus is excellent. I'm actually reading that right now. Ragnar Blackmane is a really cool character, and William King is a damn good writer. It's just... There's a big difference between what William King did in Space Wolf and what a lot of these other writers do when it comes to the Space Marine characters. Ragnar Blackmane is a real human being. He has to learn. He is confident, but he kind of gets shown that he doesn't know what he's doing most of the time. It's great. And the characters are great. The setting's great. It's just... Kane and Space Wolf are some of the best stuff ever. Now, the third one, the one that I keep forgetting because I have read it multiple times and haven't read it again in the last couple of years, Eisenhorn. The Eisenhorn Omnibus, once again, great characters, great setting, great plot. All 3 of those omnibuses have great plots in all of them. And it's actually something that will keep you engrossed the entire time. I'd actually say that Kane, Space Wolf, and Eisenhorn are the best aspects of the 40K franchise. Everything else just isn't quite as good. And I'm still a big fan of the 40K novels. I've actually picked up fairly recently the latest ones. But really, there is some Alpha Prime there, but not much. One of the latest 40K books, there was a 30K book actually, called Valdor, Rise of the Imperium. That was pretty damn good. And I'm not a big fan of Chris Raitt. His stuff is usually pretty dry. The characters aren't very good. I actually picked up 2 of his books fairly recently and read both of them. And Valdor, pretty damn good. Definitely Alpha Prime. It is, I think, the earliest 30K book released, by which I mean it takes place when the God Emperor of Mankind still has not yet conquered Earth. Good stuff all around. Actually shows some Thunder Warriors. Good stuff. His second book is a sequel to Carrion Throne, and it has this Inquisitor character who's basically this broken down old codger. It's got some other characters which are pretty lame, but I will say it wasn't that bad and actually fills in some details around the opening of the... what is that thing called? The Maledictum or whatever. The big space thing. It fills in some details on that, but I would honestly recommend skipping it. It was not that good. So, in any event, 40K. Get the first Kane Omnibus, if you like it. Get the Space Wolf Omnibus, if you like it. Get the Eisenhorn Omnibus. And if you like that, get more Kane Omnibuses, get more Space Wolves, then potentially move on to some Imperial Guard stuff. Grey Knights is also decent, although I gotta say, when I reread Grey Knights, the first book by Ben Counter, it actually kind of put me to sleep in some places because it's a very Baroque novel. It's like, just get on with it already. So, yeah, I do recommend those three omnibuses. So, let's see, we got anything else beyond that? I think that's it for today. And I'm General Lotz, wishing you good Ragnar Blackmane, and good Caiaphas Blackadder Kane, whatever makes you happy. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and if you can, please consider supporting me on Patreon so that I can continue bringing you this awesome content.